Have you ever wanted to take your reselling game to the next level, or even thought, hey, could I combine Facebook Marketplace, eBay with streaming? Well, you're in the right place. Today, I'm going to show you how to use Whatnot, the streaming auction and selling platform. So if you haven't heard of Whatnot already, it's basically a vertical streaming platform which you can buy and sell on and also create auctions just like eBay. It has quickly become collectors and resellers' favorite place to go. You may have heard of Whatnot through Pokemon or vintage clothing, but there is a plethora of things being sold on Whatnot, all the way from new electronics to plushies and more. So without further ado, let me show you guys how you can start streaming on Whatnot and do it professionally. All right, so first things first, you're gonna have to apply to become a seller on Whatnot. Now, this is super simple. They're just gonna ask you some of your personal information and the niche that you're gonna be selling in primarily, just so that they can approve you to become a seller on Whatnot. All right, so as soon as you've typed in all of your information and applied to become a seller, now you can start creating your shows, creating listings, and get to selling on Whatnot. All right, so now it's time to create some shows and list some products for them. So first of all, you're gonna need a secondary device when you're doing your Whatnot shows. It's not necessary, but if you want your shows to be running smoothly so that you can activate auctions, pin items, and interact or chat without having to stop the stream, you're gonna want a secondary device. This can be an old phone, a laptop, whatever you have laying around. Bonus points if it has a working camera, that's okay. So then you can take pictures and add listings mid-show. So once you're on Whatnot, you're gonna navigate over to the Sellers Hub, and then from there, you have the Schedule Show button and the Create Product button right up at the top. Those are the only two buttons you're gonna need for now until you start making some sales. So first, try scheduling a show, because when you go and create products, you need a show to add them to. So go to Schedule Show. From here, that lets you name your show, put the date and the time for your shows, add moderators, put a good thumbnail, and more. So when you first create your Whatnot show, there are three things that are really important to set: the name, the time, and the thumbnail. So first of all, the name is what people are gonna see as they're scrolling through. You want it to be things that are gonna catch people's eye and relate to what you're streaming. So if you're selling VHS tapes, obviously put that in the name. Vintage clothing, put that in the name. Or modern clothing, you can do that as well. And make it sound fun, exciting. $5 starts all night, super grails, lots of funny t-shirts. And so you might be thinking now, why is the time that important? Well, time is incredibly important because that's gonna be how many people are watching your shows. If you go live right in the morning, probably not too many people will be up and ready to start swiping on Whatnot. But the later in the evening that you go, it's gonna be better with more eyes on your streams. So keep in mind the local time zone that you're in and try and think about, when's gonna be the best time for me to get the most viewers on my stream? Now, wrapping back in with the title, your thumbnail is just as important. Whatnot lets you set either a video thumbnail or a picture thumbnail for your streams. Now, you can actually go and create your own thumbnails that are pretty cool looking. I see a lot of people making AI generated ones with ChatGPT or other things. So don't be afraid to do that. Make something unique and cool that's gonna catch people's eyes. What I usually do is I try and do like a shocked face or an exaggerated look in front of the clothing that I'm gonna be selling that day. So something like is gonna be a great way to catch people's attention and say, hey, what is he streaming? And pop in. But don't forget, just like the titles, you want it to be related to your stream so that you don't get people clicking in and then leaving right away. So now also in the schedule a show section, you can see we have the option to make the show repeat. Now this is gonna be super helpful, so then you don't have to go and create a new show every single time. If you know you're gonna be streaming on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, or say, hey, just Fridays, you can set your shows to repeat only on those days and for a set amount of weeks. I was remaking my same show every single time for the course of a month until I finally figured this out. And now I haven't had to remake a show in over 3 weeks because it just has them preset for me. But make sure if you are presetting shows, if you plan to have a delay or not stream that day, go edit the date and time, because people will go and pre-save these shows, getting you more viewers on that show. And if you miss it, if you skip the show, well, you've just lost those pre-saved viewers and disappointed some people. So make sure you're always editing your times and staying on top of it so you can always get the most amount of eyes on your stream. All right, now before we end off with the scheduling of the shows, make sure you choose your primary category. So if you scroll right down below, you're gonna see you have a list of lots of primary categories you can choose from. Men's vintage clothing is usually the one that I'm selecting, or you can be doing Pokemon, video games, or more. And then right below that, it lets you choose 3 tags related to your thing. So I usually do men's, vintage, and then women's, because sometimes I've got some women's vintage clothing as well. And then that's gonna help people find your shows super easily. Now you can only pick 3 and then 1 primary tag, so make sure they're heavily related to what you're doing. And then last but not least is gonna be your shipping settings. As you guys can see right over here, you wanna obviously choose free pickup if you're in an area that lots of people might stop by to pick up. And if you're uncomfortable with having your address, you can set it to a community center or building close to you. That's always a good way to go about it. And don't forget to choose your preferred shipping provider. Now, currently in Canada, we have a Canada Post strike, so I can't really ship with Canada Post. Awesome enough, Whatnot lets you ship with Chit Chats or other providers. Now, if you're shipping from the States, you've got a list of other options as well. So just choose what's least expensive for you and your viewers. And the rest of the settings, for now, you don't need to worry about. We're gonna be doing some more advanced tutorials in the future, so make sure you guys subscribe if you're interested to learn more about Whatnot and these awesome selling platforms. All right, so now that we've set up our first show, and before we go set up any products, we need to set up a shipping profile, or a couple shipping profiles. This is one of the most important steps of the whole video, so make sure you don't skip this. So if you're doing it from the app, if you go over to the app and then choose the 3 lines up at the top, scroll down until you see settings and then shipping setting, select that, you're gonna see shipping profiles. Now, as you can see, I already have 5 shipping profiles set up. These are super important for when you are listing your items. Basically, it's going to say, hey, I have this size box, I can fit up to this many items into it, and that's all. Once you have your shipping profiles accurately set up, Whatnot will smart bundle your items and make your viewers pay much less shipping. Trust me, you don't want your items not to bundle, because viewers will not pay shipping on multiple items, or they won't do it happily. So now go into your shipping profiles and then press the plus button up at the top. Name this something that you're gonna remember and it's gonna be easy to understand. So I like to do, 1 box t-shirt or something, because I know I'm gonna be using my box size and it's for t-shirts. All right, so after you've named it, from there, you can select the weight. Most of the time we're gonna be weighing things in ounces, so just keep that the same and weigh what a standard t-shirt or item for you weighs and then input that. Now, it's not going to be what the total is. Say you can fit 5 t-shirts in a box. It's not the total weight for that. It's the amount of weight plus the box for 1 t-shirt. So I put 7 ounces for my total weight in that box, and then I can set the maximum amount of items that can be put into 1 package. So I have tested and I know that my boxes fit 5 t-shirts per box. So I would put 5 as the maximum amount of items that I can fit in that. And now you're gonna scroll down and you're gonna put the dimensions of your box. I know that my box is 12 by 9 by 3 inches, so I'm gonna set it from centimeters to inches and then edit that. So the length is 12.
Oops, 12, the width is.
So after you've set the size of your box in your shipping profile, you're gonna wanna go and turn this on right below it. Set fixed weight for additional items in the same package. This basically means every single time you add or Whatnot bundles a t-shirt into your item, or well, anything that you're selling, doesn't have to be a t-shirt, it's going to keep the same weight for that item and increase it for the package. Now, choose an average weight for the item that you're gonna be selling. For t-shirts, I have set it in between 7 to 9 ounces so that it never is really too high or too low. Keep in mind, the higher you set the weight, the more your buyer is gonna have to pay. Keeping this turned on, just make sure that the label is accurate when you do finally go to ship your bundled items, because obviously, the more t-shirts or items you add to a package, the more it's gonna weigh. And don't forget, guys, go back and create as many shipping profiles as you have different size boxes or different weighted items. It's going to be super helpful for when you're going and listing your products to make sure you're not going through and having to re-edit all your shipping labels afterwards. The more accurate your shipping profiles, the less your buyers have to pay and the less of a headache it is when it comes to shipping time. Now head over to the Create a Product tab and we're gonna be ready to start creating our products and adding them to the shop. It'll open up this and now lets you either add pictures, you can add up to 8 per piece, you can now choose your category, men's vintage clothing, obviously for what I'm selling, but they've got categories for everything as I explained, and now you've set your title, your description, size, condition, and more. The rest of these I personally don't worry about. The only ones I put in are the category, obviously, and the title, description, and sometimes I even leave size blank. If you're doing a good enough job showing off the pieces of clothing on your Whatnot stream, you most often don't need to fill out these listings. The listings are for when you're doing buy it nows or you keeping items listed on your shop for long periods of time. We'll get more into that in other videos. So to keep things simple, just throw in an easy title. I usually copy and paste the title into the description, and if you want, you could throw the size of the piece on there. For this video, I'm only going to focus on the auction settings. I will do another full video on the buy it now features and how to set up your store page so you can keep items listed on there for people to buy whenever. So now after selecting auction, you're going to be able to put your starting bid, you can make it sudden death, and you now have to select what shows they're on. So I usually like to do $5 starts for most of my pieces. I don't do sudden death bids, but it's a fun setting to play around with if you guys want to try it out. All right, so after you've set your starting bid, now you've got to add it to your shows. Now, if you only have the one show selected, then just go to select show, select that one, and you're good to go. But if you've gone in preset shows for, every single week or a couple days this week, then you can go and just press select all, and that's gonna make your life much, much easier. Because if you only add it to one show and then it doesn't sell, you've gotta go and manually add it to each show again afterwards. But if you went and added it to every show and the product sold, it will remove it from your shop page for you. All right, and now the last thing that you need to do before you can get to selling is you need to select the shipping profile that we created earlier. So if you go up and you can see one shirt dash box, that is right up there, or depending on what you're shipping, whether it's VHS tapes, Pokemon, make sure that you have accurately set your shipping profiles. That is probably the most important thing of these whole steps. So once you've done that, now you can select your shipping profile that you set up earlier and choose publish, and you're done. Your listing is now going to be in your shop ready for you to see. So I will show you guys right now how you can go and check out your listings and see if you need to edit any of them. So once everything's done successfully, you're going to see this up on the screen there. Congratulations, you now have your listing. So I'm just going to press view listing so I can show you guys, and it should come up like this. As you can see here, we have the picture, we've got the description at the bottom, and that's pretty much what your viewer's going to see when they're watching the stream. Obviously, the full picture here is going to be taken up by whatever you have on your stream, but yeah, you're ready to go start selling. All right, so now that I've shown you guys how to schedule your shows, create shipping profiles, and list your products on your shop, you're ready to get to streaming. But if you want a couple more tips, let me just give you those right now. So from all the time that I've been streaming on Whatnot, I've learned a couple things that make your stream just much, much better. And not only enjoyable for the viewers, but yourself, because less work equals an easier stream. You want to give as much of your energy to the show and the viewers as possible. So the least amount of energy that you have to put into other things, having them just set up for you, the better. So what makes and breaks a good show is lighting, camera quality, and sound quality. So you're going to want to have good lighting, backlighting and front lighting, so nothing is shadowed and the viewer can see everything. Have a light in front of you so that you can not only have it right on your face, but when you're showing off the products for the viewers, have backlights so people can see everything behind you and eliminate as many shadows as possible. Have wireless microphones so viewers can easily hear you no matter where you are showing things off. And ideally, use your best cell phone so that the camera quality for your stream is as good as possible. Now, all these things are incremental in the true quality or sales that you're gonna get for your streams, but the more that you can add to it and the better you can make it, the more likely it is that it's gonna go well. All right, now moving on, having an interesting background always helps. Now this isn't bad, it lets people know, hey, I'm selling vintage clothing. I've got racks of clothing behind me. They can maybe see some colorful pieces that grab their eye from behind them. But if you have the availability, hang some pieces up above you, whether it be t-shirts, video games. If you show off the product that you're selling in the background, that's gonna let people see it before they even have to ask. So when people are swiping through, you gotta think, what's gonna catch their attention the quickest? So another thing that catches people's attention is some nice background music. Sometimes you can't always be talking the entire stream. There's gonna be some lulls where it's quiet. And the best thing to do is fill that with some background music. So if you've got a portable Bluetooth speaker, grab that and attach it to your secondary device. Don't attach it to the primary device that's streaming because it's gonna go into handheld mode and the music quality is gonna be terrible. So if you have a secondary device that you can use for the streams, then boom, you're set. Turn on that music, make sure you keep it low, don't overpower your voice, and put it close to the microphone. You're good to go. All right, and so the last and final tip that I'm gonna give you guys is have a secondary device. I said this at the start of the video, and I'm gonna say it again because it is that important. Having a secondary device, even if it's your old iPod, makes or breaks a Whatnot stream. If you don't have one of these, you're gonna be with your face in front of the camera the entire time, trying to read chat, start listings, start auctions. That's not the way to go. Or you'll be shaking your tripod. Viewers just won't want to stay for that sort of stream. So almost everybody has an old iPod or cell phone or something laying around. If you have that, you can download the Whatnot app and be signed in from 2 devices. That way, you can monitor your stream, watching chat, seeing how you look, and you can pin items, start your auctions that way. It is the way to go. You can even add listings to your shop midstream. All you gotta do is take that secondary device, take a picture, set the name, set the price, add it to the shop, and you're ready to go. And that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you guys now are ready to use Whatnot and get to selling. If there's anything that you feel I didn't cover well enough, just let me know down in the comments below. I'm gonna be making lots more in-depth Whatnot tutorials, so if you have any comments or questions, make sure to prioritize those first. Have yourselves a wonderful day and get selling.